Hey community, we are 1-2
Comic Talk.
We got some mentions for a bunch of different stuff that is happening.
Yeah.
Again, grateful to the community. We say this every time. Grateful to the community for our growth. We are at 38 members on Facebook. We are slowly ramping up on YouTube. We are at like 8 or something.
9?
Something like that.
Yeah. But hey, we appreciate everybody, and as you know, the idea behind this community is so we can grow together. The idea behind that is so we can go ahead and plug some of the shops, some of the people. The idea behind this again is we are trying to plug the small guy. You know, we're trying to keep everybody going. We're trying to keep everyone growing. And that's the idea behind this is we like to discuss the things that we love. And one of the things that we're going to discuss right now is
movies. But before we get into that, I hope you know that we are literally them now. Like before, we were just talking about the small guys, and we were like, "Oh, we need to support them." We are literally the small guys now. We are a part of them.
So we appreciate the fact that you support
people
us.
like us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, now we can get on to the movies. Just want to throw that in there.
One movie that's been rumored to be in production right now, and there is one source of verification. I don't want to give that, but just do the research. From my understanding, Sony, I believe, is backing this, which is Harbinger. Harbinger is a Valiant title.
What's Harbinger?
It's a story of basically some superpowered teens that wants to overthrow a secret organization of basically by the military, I believe. And they're kind of like a black ops group as far as what these kids are trying to overthrow. I may be a little off on that, but the idea of what I really want to get is we're starting to see someone other than just Marvel put out stuff. The other one is another Valiant issue, which is Valiant line, which is Bloodshot. It is going to be releasing the beginning of next year, so it's just nice to see something fresh and something different.
What's Bloodshot?
That basically is a story of nanobots being injected into a he was a
nanomachine, son.
Nanomachine, son. And it gives this individual superhuman strength, and it also involves, I believe, if I recall correctly, the government misusing and abusing, basically creating him and not telling him the real reason why they created him, and then he kind of wants to get a little revenge. It's a cool story. Ninjak, all that stuff. Again, it's all Valiant stuff, and that's what I'm getting at. It's cool to see something different pop up. What about movies with you? Anything that's out there you even want to see? Or see, we are a real at-home show.
Yeah, you know what? And guess what? We are including that into the episode. I am not cutting that out, and you can enjoy it. Probably one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to, and I need to keep remembering this, is September 17th and 19th, Promare is going to be released. I know some of you have been looking forward to that. Something I'm very, very, very excited for. I am literally jumping out of my effing seat for is the fact that WayForward Games, they started the Shantae series. They started like 12 years ago with this little DS game called Shantae. It looked really crappy. It was just a small game, and then it got ramped, and now it's really popular, and now they're going to be previewing their next game, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, at the start of the Promare movie. You will be able to see the trailer for that upcoming game at the start of the movie, and I am super excited to see that movie as well as said trailer, because it is going to be the first premiere.
Hopefully you can post that on the site.
Right. Again, I'm pretty sure it is going to be the first release of that trailer ever. That's why I'm so excited. The Promare movie, I don't even know what it's about, but as far as it looks, at first I wanted to say it's made by Studio Trigger. They made Gurren Lagann, they made Kill la Kill. Gurren Lagann is crazy. It's about mechs, and then it's about, in the end, these mechs get super big and they start throwing galaxies as frisbees.
Nice.
It just gets to the point where it's not even trying to stay, like, logical anymore. It's just like, hey, we're so powerful that we're gonna do this. Why? Because we're doing it. That's why. And you can take it as it is. Kill la Kill is almost the same. It's a little more grounded. It's about this girl, her dad dies, and all she's left with is this half of something called a scissor blade, and she learns more about how the world is and everything. It's just as crazy.
Now this is all anime format, correct?
This is all anime, yeah.
Alright.
Anyway, they again, that's Studio Trigger, and they are going to be. Oh, that's what Studio Trigger did. They made Shantae. They made a like, if Shantae was going to be an anime, they made like a small little trailer for it if it was going to be one, just as like a mock.
Oh, okay.
And that was funny.
Sounds like they're trying to pitch something.
Well, no, just like, hey, if Shantae was going to be an anime.
I think they want an option. It sounds like they want an option.
No, I think it was kind of like a one-off. Here it is. It's funny. A lot of people do that. Like what if TF2?
I'm being educated. See.
Right. Anyway, looking forward to the Pro Murray movie. Again, thought it was going to be about mechs. Nope. Studio Trigger's doing something entirely different. It almost looks like racing. You can check that out in theaters September 17th and 19th. Be sure you make sure what date you want to go see, because one date has the dubbed version, one date has the subbed version.
Oh,
and that is a big difference whether you want to hear English or you want to read it. Not a lot for me has been going on in terms of anime and games I've been playing or watching.
Watching you game a little bit.
Well, I play League of Legends, but that's it. I'm getting a little better.
What was that Raggedy Man thing?
It's Stick Fight. It's like a $2 game. Again, not many big games I want to talk about. I'm more focused on like story games. Borderlands 3 just came out today for PC. Haven't had the money to get that.
Hint.
It's Monster Hunter World Iceborne has just come out too. Haven't had the money to get that. There's a lot of things I really want to get that I have no money for, and I'm crying as I have to do all this homework as well. It's rough. It's rough. Alright.
Moving on
to comics.
Yeah, hey, that's what the show's about,
Surfer
right?
Black. Surfer Black.
Alright, let's talk about Surfer Black.
Oh my god.
If you've been following the story, you know that basically what we've kind of got
It's left an imprint on me.
Is that there's an appearance of, might as well say, the Incubator.
Right.
You know, if you know a little bit about the storyline.
Of Galactus.
So, Surfer has to make a decision. And
he makes crazy ones.
We end up finding out that basically a Watcher appears and he is basically yelling at Surfer for interrupting the timeline.
It's like, dude, what are you doing?
You know, as I've always yelled and screamed about how I don't like to give it away. Right now, I've given away a lot. This is a lot more than I normally do. But I want to bring everybody up to speed, kind of what we've been talking about for, God, almost 2 months now. You know, and what we're going to be talking about all night tonight is actually things that we've been talking about from the beginning. So in Surfer Black, highly recommend it. If you're reading all this Donny Cates stuff, which is all the Carnage stuff, the Surfer stuff, I believe he's even touching with some of the Guardian. And I think he's influencing it. He's been talking to some of the guys that have been writing that stuff to make sure it guides in a certain way. Even as you're seeing behind me, there's some Ghost Rider stuff that I believe is going to be influencing the launch of the new Ghost Rider. If you look at some of the back of the mags, you'll end up seeing that it's tying into other stuff outside of even the Carnage stuff.
What?
So the Surfer stuff is tying into everything.
You gotta show the Spawn sketch. Come on.
To jump off there, basically Juan did this piece, Mr. Gideon.
Hold it up a little closer.
And this is, you can see, is Spawn 300. Now Spawn, congratulations Mr. McFarlane, the Todd father.
Why don't you tell them the character? Some people might not know. I didn't.
And after all these years, Spawn has reached 300. It's consecutive, owned by Mr. Todd McFarlane, and he's broken 300. I bought that sketch, and I had, I bought the blank to have the sketch done. I got that done by Juan. And the sketches of She-Spawn. Now, those of you that maybe follow Spawn in the past, you end up seeing a She-Spawn appearance and earlier stuff. This is way later. Coming in 300. This is a whole new direction that they're going with the character. Now, I'm a big binge guy, and what I like to do is I like to wait, buy a bunch of books, and then just read them all in one consecutive order, However, it turns out to be in some type of order, and that's what I've been kind of doing even with the Absolute Carnage. Is I've been waiting until I can get enough of the books and then reading it all. Kai got to read some of the one-offs, and what he got to read is he got to read the Symbiote of Vengeance. He ended up got to read. Did you get to hit the Venom? No, you end up reading the Absolute Carnage Symbiote Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And in that, the reason why I gave those books to him to read as opposed to the other ones is one of which is kind of before all the Absolute Carnage stuff, one of which is kind of during the first phase. And they both have significant things that happen in there. This is changing the Marvel Universe forever. Kanto.
Yeah.
Talk Kanto.
Well, so far so good. Story is progressing well. It's such a mix of everything. It does so many things at once, and I love it. Like, it does so many things, and it does so little things. Like, right now they just introduced some new characters. This series is kind of less serious and more funny, but it definitely ends in a serious tone that makes you think that the next one is going to be serious. I really liked Kanto 4, and again, there's what I like to call the void text, which is just the black, and we've been having off and ons. We saw it in the first one, didn't see it in the second one, saw it in the next one, didn't see it in this one, and we might see it again in the next one.
The void text is basically conversations between he and his love.
Right, but it's in like soul tech, or it's in like soul talk. Like, they obviously aren't near each other. They're not actually talking to each other.
Well, in the first issue, they're in the dark, and she's ill and ailing from her wounds. So as opposed to them really showing her, they just kind of show the conversation happening in the dark. The other, you know, down the road, you can see that it's a conversation that they had, and there's, I think the idea is to give you an impact to allow your imagination to go ahead and give it.
Now one thing other than just the story, I'm looking deeper into this than I really should. I'm not
even go deep on this story.
I'm not even looking at like surface level Kanto anymore. There's so much like just text that you can shrug off that goes.
Somebody.
Huh?
Go ahead.
What?
Sorry. Oh, I just plugged a soda. Keep going.
Everyone drinks Coke.
Well, hey, okay, keep going.
And it goes much deeper than like surface, and I'm starting to realize that too, and I'm starting to understand it all. So like, there's been some text said that just makes me think like, wow, did they really just say that? And then it just spins your entire perspective of life as a whole.
What I'm also seeing is that we can take this whole thing and flip it. And the few times we've actually seen a real life boy, and the few times we've heard about how their village was overran and how it's taken over, is also a way how some people kind of deal with their realities, is they create a fantasy. So for what we could be reading right now is nothing more than a traumatized kid that created this whole thing, and he may feel bad about a person that may have been abducted. So
little dark, but okay.
And he may feel that it's his obligation to go do something. So we may be reading something that is a fantasy created by a boy that's trying to stir the courage enough to go ahead and save a little girl.
Well, I guess you can take many things and
again, yeah,
ways
it's kind of subjective. This thing is super deep, and it's beautifully written. It's beautifully
drawn
Zucker.
as well.
Drew, you're doing just an incredible job. I'm always immersed. It takes me a little bit to kind of read through some of the stuff only because I get sucked into the art. We have been talking about this since day one, since it came out, and we are just in love with the story. I think we're probably going to be sad when it
We
ends.
got time for a quick review on Black Cat 4 and Venom 18.
Black Cat. I've been reading this since it came out, issue 1. I reread everything again. I didn't buy the 4 Fantasy Street. I'm almost kind of tempted to go that route only because of what Black Cat did over at the Fantastic Four area. She's been put on a path of hitting pretty big people. She's hit Doctor Strange. She just basically hit the Fantastic Four. She hit a museum in the beginning.
Jesus.
What
What is
it's
her
not
goal?
all for her. That's the thing, is the goal is a little elusive because she's doing it for an individual who kind of trained her. And I don't want to kind of get any more than that. What I want to say is, if you're curious, pick up all the books right now. None of this stuff is that expensive. Go ahead and buy the basic. As I always say, buy what you want. Buy what you desire. That way, you'll never be unhappy with what you're purchasing. So, not to really get into the whole spec talk, because you know how I feel about that. What I will say is this. The idea of speculation is, in my eyes, has always been this. If the story is good, and or if the art is good, and or if the publishing is correct in the sense that they're trying to give you a decent storyline, and everything in good faith, meaning the correct numbers are published, things are being delivered on time, prompt, things are not destroyed accidentally or misprinted or whatever. The idea of the whole market thing is because they're desired. So I desire to read these books. I paid face value for these things, other than a couple of the variants. But point being is that I'm willing to pay only a couple dollars because basically I'm willing for either the art and or the story. And that's almost it. I don't care how many were printed and all this other stuff. That's not what you and I discuss. I never discuss this stuff with you.
I can't believe this short page of a script. It was I'm gonna say right now, this was a quarter of... You want to see this? This is a 16-minute episode!
So that being said, we're pretty much done with that, other than we want to go ahead and review. I've been going through the Carnage stuff, and now I've been talking a little bit about it. We've been going through all this Kanto stuff. We've been going through the Surfer Black stuff. As far as the Black, as far as the Carnage, this stuff tying in together.
And that probably concludes for today. Next time we come back, it'll probably be, with how long this was, it might just be an hour-long video. We may never know, because by then I'll have finished Promer.
We hope that you appreciate the videos.
Yeah, this has been 1-2.
Comic Talk, you take care.
Oh my god.